The United States has been engaged in Afghanistan militarily, politically, and economically for 15 years. It has spent more than $1 trillion on the war and counterinsurgency there by some estimates, and yet, last October, the United Nations concluded that the insurgency had spread to more places in the country than at any point since 2001. Some argue in Washington that 15 years is not enough. They point to South Korea and Germany and say the United States should simply stay in Afghanistan unendingly. But the analogy is misplaced. In Germany and South Korea, American forces remained to deter a foreign threat. They were not engaged in a never-ending battle within the country to help the government gain control over its own people. The chief lesson for American foreign policy over the last 15 years is that it is much easier to defeat a military opponent in the greater Middle East than to establish political order in these troubled lands. In Iraq, Afghanistan, and Libya, it took just weeks to defeat the old regime. But years later, despite varying approaches, all these countries remain in chaos. Can anyone seriously argue that a few more troops here, a slightly different strategy there, would have created stability and peace when you have instability in all three?